see them walk the talk.
Walk the talk. And 120 days will be that we want to see what happens.
Will be the test case.
The test case. For us as women, we are also putting our ears to the ground. We are opening our eyes to see. We want to already, some people have already started making noise. That these committees that they were setting up, the oral, they recently formed another committee, something on security or something.
Yeah, national security.
And then
security.
Yes, and then we didn't see any woman. So we are wondering, so why? Because there are women who have served this country, if it has to do with expertise, who have served in the forces, who are retired, who are there, who have done a lot of work. So we didn't see that. So some women were agitated. In fact, just 2 days ago, I'm on in a group. They said we should write a petition, we should protest, we should do. I said, let's hold on. Wow. Let's hold on. Today is the day. After the 7th.
Yeah.
After the end of today.
So if we send petition.
But on your screen there is former chairman of the NDC, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, arriving. Dr. Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo arriving at the ground. I mean, while we've been having the discussions, we've been seeing, live video of dignitaries arriving. We've been seeing a cultural troupe engaging in all kinds of dances. That's Maireta engaged in an embrace with Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo.
She has been appointed as legal counsel to the president.
Legal counsel to the president. We know she was Attorney General in the.
We trade with Exness. We take advantage of the best pricing on gold and oil, the lowest, tightest, and most stable, even during market-moving events. Trade with the best.
And all is said. The place is looking very colorful with red, yellow, or red, gold, and green.
And various, kente apparel.
So all is set. We'll just wait on the arrival of the president-elect together with his vice president-elect and the chief justice who will be doing the swearing in. And you can see that quite a number of dignitaries have already arrived and are seated. And of course, you can trust that we'll be bringing you that live feed and bring you everything that is happening. That is happening
Information Minister.
On the ground. Yes, Zito Kaikwe.
Yes.
All right. So those are that's a live feed that we're bringing you from the Independence Square. But yes, Doc, let me come back to you.
Yes. So what I was saying is that people voted for change.
For change. They want to see the change.
They want to see the change. So it's not
and
just...
the women also voted for change.
We also voted for change.
So
we want to see the change. We want to see their 30%. So we want to see they are operationalized. Yeah, that one they say 30% first, and then another segment, 30, I think 35, 40, they gradually get to 50. But we want to start with the 30 immediately. And that must start with this government. And it's also in their manifesto. So it aligns with the affirmative Action Act or law. So they don't have any excuse at all. So those other oral, these things and all that they did, and I think one of them, they had the transition team. They had only one woman among 10. So people complained about that one. So they said, let's write. They said, don't worry. We are waiting. We are waiting. Because when I...
But even with the transition, various committees, and I have women.
That is the problem. When they start talking about subcommittees, when you appoint ministers, you see that many a time the women become deputies. We don't want that. So for every appointment that you make,
you don't want the woman as second fiddle.
Yes. vice is just a stepping, so we put one foot inside. The next time we put the second. So we are very happy.
So the president said he will appoint 60 ministers.
Yes.
Out of the 60 ministers, how many are
30%. 30%. That's what they promised. So we'll take that one for now. 30%.
30%
of the 60.
Of the 60.
Yes.
I should be. Women. Yes, Doc.
I think care has to be taken here. I have just written a big book, which is waiting to be published by Cambridge Publishing on affirmative action, feminism, gender issues. And gender issues is not only about masculine, feminine issues, but Madam Charity is also about masculine issues. And the affirmative law needs to have a legislative instrument for a lot of companies and government institutions to know how to proceed. I know that the schedule has a layout of how it should be followed. However, I think to expect things so immediately, like today after tomorrow, they're swearing in today after tomorrow, to expect
pressure
that. For me, it's a bit not realistic.
But look, she's talking about, her point. But that's 18. That's 18. So she expects nothing less than 18.
It's nothing less.
18 ministers, right? So would it be wrong for them to say that, okay, now that you're about to do your appointments, we're engaging with you that by the time you finish with the appointments of your 60 ministers, for example, 18 of them should be women?
Because mind you, in the social contracts, President Mahama says he will, in the first 14 days, nominate for...
In 2029 to 2034, we should have 50%. And if you go... The reason why we cannot... I will not accept the suggestion of Doc that we should try cautiously is that if you do not want to do something, don't promise it.
Sure.
It is in the manifesto. It's not just about this schedule I'm showing you, the progressive aspect of the affirmative action. But it is in the NDC manifesto that 30% of appointments will be reserved for women. So, and you have only 4 years. Are we going to wait slowly and be patient till the end of the term? No, it has to be now. You say Agrobeswa. Exactly.
But Doc, you want to respond. But I think probably you're also talking about broader expectations of Ghanaians with regard to the performance of the government.
Before the doctor comes in.
Yes.
I just want to say that when we are talking about affirmative action, we are talking about gender equality and all that. It's simply that we are not saying that men are not relevant. We are saying that we want to address an imbalance. And there has to be an imbalance. If you have a parliament of 275, the previous one, and only 40, it's an indictment on us as a country. So
especially when women are in the majority when it comes to numbers. So as we say, affirmative action.
But the women put themselves up.
The affirmative action is a temporary measure to address certain things. So,
no, but look, on that score, did the women put themselves up to be voted for? Because I don't think there was any obstacle placed in the way of any woman in any political party from contesting for the primaries, from contesting for the elections.
The conditions.
In fact, even in some instances, the women who were already there were protected.
Yes.
You know, Lantam, she mentioned in some instances, we have sat here on GH today and had some women come onto the platform and talk about the high monetization of politics, which prevents a number of them from getting access to the decision-making table. Yes. Ellen Amadeko, for instance, has talked a number of times about this particular issue. So it is not as though the women do not put themselves up for the election. It is the instances that prevents the women from being elected.
So are we saying then that, and Doc, you are saying that you've written a book, a whole book, about women empowerment,
I've done a lot of studies on this,
yes, you know, and all of that. So is it that even economically, right, as Lily would allude to, the women are less empowered economically to have the financial muscle to contest, you know, for example, in parliamentary elections than the men would?
That is a fact. But that women economically are at a disadvantage. But we are not talking about the broader society of women. We're talking about actualized women who want to elevate themselves beyond their status right now.
In politics.
Those women should have the same amount of money and access to the same amount of money as the men. If you're a lecturer, you're a man lecturer, a female lecturer, you are paid the same amount. So if you want to contest for political position, you shouldn't be given special privileges in order to contest, because that will not be fair to men. That's what the women want. The cost of contesting is not decided by the political party. It is decided by the marketplace of political business cycle. And therefore,
so that's our founder, Dr. Pabnado for the investiture of President.
A lot of dignitaries arriving.
Yes,
we'll be running you through all of that. And these are the drummers of the mighty front on from drums.
Wow, beautiful drums.
But Doc, back to your point, Doc. Yes. And I know you disagree.
No.
You're coming, but I want Doc to finish with the point.
Then you can make your point as well.
There's going to be a lot of legal challenges to the affirmative action. That you can expect that. A lot of challenges are going to happen.
On what aspects of it?
Because there is going to be some of the problems that, why has the United States government, Supreme Court, abolished the affirmative action program in a case Harvard versus University of North Carolina?
I mean, the affirmative action was
after 25 years
on women. It was, minorities and all of those.
And they have abolished it completely because it is unfair to men in many, many instances. For example, I remember the MPP came out that the women who are seeking political, they should pay less than the men. It shouldn't be that. Everybody should pay the same, compete on equal ground, and then you get the respect from the men. If you don't compete on equal ground and we make excuses for you, then it's not fair to the men. And so, for me, I want to see women progress.
But aren't they coming from the point of, we've lived in a patriarchal society for so long, men have dominated, especially in Africa, for so long, that the women have been put at a disadvantage. And so we must necessarily take deliberate steps
to correcting
that, which will put the men a little bit at a disadvantage because the men are already elevated.
However, when I was growing up as a young man, my grandmother kept telling me that you're a man, you don't behave like a woman. Correct the imbalances.
And we just saw in your shot there Sam Okudzeto. I think that's lawyer Sam Okudzeto, elder statesman, and former member of the Council of States. Also greetings on the dignitaries as they arrive. And of course, as we're engaging in the discussion, as and when we need to talk about what you're seeing on your screen, we definitely will, so that we can carry you along, with what you are watching on the screen, and of course with the discussions that we're having here in the studio as well about all of these issues. The women up there are very excited. I'm sure they are saying
Yes. Dr. Charity.
Yes.
I am not opposed to affirmative action. I'm saying the modalities for the implementation has to be very carefully thought out. Otherwise, we're going to have a lot of legal challenges.
Yes, but back to the question I asked, Doc, about the position of men and the privileges that men have enjoyed in society and dominated for so long, and a deliberate attempt to uplift women. So based on that, if they say
that's an emotional, an emotional argument.
I know,
it's a seriously emotional argument.
I know, but
the position of men were created by society. No, the grandmothers and the mothers have been the ones that have created this persona of men.
You alluded to the fact, Doc, that economically, men are more empowered than women. So within that context, if we bring it, into politics, we know that men already dominate politics, the political landscape, heavily. So in order to uplift, women, and in your shot there is Jacob Zuma, that is the president of South Africa. Former president Jacob Zuma, the embattled president. We know that he had some legal issues in South Africa with regard to corruption and all of that, and he was one of the presidents who was, accused of corruption, taken through the process, investigations, and all of that. And he's there in attendance at the inauguration, former president of South Africa. I mean, the current president is Cyril Ramaphosa. I don't know if he's here. I don't know if he's there at the inauguration.
Well, we have not cited him.
We've not seen him there. But
we're expecting about 21 dignitaries coming in to grace
Ellen Johnson Sirleaf.
Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, formerly of Liberia.
Yeah, she's growing.
She's grown.
She's also there.
Quite an interesting spectacle there.
So we'll be citing them, and we'll be carrying you along, as and when we have. So forgive us if we cut into the discussions and tell you about what is happening on your screen. But let's get back to this seemingly
emotional.
No. Appointment of women to positions of authority is not an emotional thing.
It's not an emotional thing.
It's not an emotional thing.
But I just want you to address, that point that I was trying to get you to make, with regard to the economics, of it, where men heavily dominate the political landscape, and so even they say that we should lower, for example, the filing fee for women to enable a lot more women to come in. It's a deliberate attempt to get women to the point where now there is no barrier, between them. Then perhaps we can go back to, like the US have done, with the affirmative action.
Right. You see, sometimes when I look at Professor Nana, a woman who didn't need the support of any group of women to become the professor, to achieve the status that she did. That, for me, is an exceptional quality. Nobody can ever discount her abilities and her achievement. Now, if she was being promoted because she's a woman, if she was being promoted, being professor because she's a woman, nobody will respect her. So we have to be very, you see, so if you're going to appoint women, you should appoint the women who are qualified to be there. Not because of their gender, but because of their qualification. And that is why NDC communicators have been saying the appointments are going to be merit-based appointment. Not simply because of whether you have a female member or a male member. So for me, I have nothing against affirmative action. I have a daughter. I would like her to move up in her profession. But I have a son too, and I would like my son to also move up in his profession, not be discriminated against because he happens to be a man.
But Dr. Baker, is it not a valid point that Dr. Norman makes? But should it be just about uplifting women, or should we be looking at the competence of the women that we are appointing?
What the argument is put up, I'm not surprised, because I've heard it over and over again over the years.
In your line of work.
Exactly. Yes. And if you are a man, it's easy for you to put up that argument, you see. There are so many qualified women in this country. What you need to do is to wear your gender lens, to be deliberate about what you want to do. That look, for instance, what the historic moment we are experiencing today, the election of the first female vice president. It was a deliberate attempt deliberate decision by the president-elect that I want this woman to be my running mate. It's not because she's a professor. There are so many other professors, but it's just something she's found in her. She's finding her that she thinks that she should be there.
And not Dr. Papakwesi Indom there in your shot.
And his wife.
Yeah, in your shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I'm saying is that all we are saying, we are not saying that any woman should be appointed. The argument is that if you want women to be appointed into leadership, where are they? They are there. They are there. Mm-hmm. We need to just be deliberate about what we do. When we come to Dr. When he was talking, I listened to him. Mm-hmm. You were talking about patriarchy and all. It's very real. Uh-huh. The intimidation, just a shame that today is not a day for me to be talking about the woes of women who get into politics and the things that they suffer.
So we are seeing Fifi Kwete, Joshua Labi, there. This is Kofi Akpalu, one of the LPG presidential candidates, of the LPG, in your shots there. Okay, and very soon also we'll cross over to the Ashanti region, where a man on the ground, Isaac Justice Bediako, is standing by to speak to us. We want to gauge the mood in Kumasi as the inauguration, is happening. Lily.
So let's go to Kumasi and engage Isaac Justice Bediako. Isaac, where are you currently? What is the mood in Kumasi? I know that a number of them voted for the NDC.
Yes, Lily, at the moment, I'm reporting live from Bantama, Abreport Junction, Metro Mass Transit Station. That is where I am at the moment. And as you can see at the background, business as usual. Traders are here, trading. Whilst commuters are also here to pick bus to their various communities. And that has been the situation. Kumasi generally has been a bit quiet. People are going about their normal duties, whilst others are also indoor watching TV to monitor proceedings at the Independence Square, where President-elect John Dramani Mahama today will take over the mantle as president from the outgoing New Patriotic Party government. And so that has been the situation in Kumasi now. But of course, expectations are very high in Kumasi because people expect that the new government will change the narrative. That is, one has to do with the lack of employment among the youth. Secondly, betting tax. Some of them are telling me that they want the government to scrap it as they promised in their party manifesto. There are other people who also write Pragya. The Okada drivers who are also here also want the government to take bold decision by making sure that they also reduce cost of fuel so that they can also conduct their business activities very well to make profit, especially those who have migrated from the other regions to come and settle in Kumasi, all in the name of searching for greener pasture so that they can also go back to their home regions to go and develop their area. Let me speak to some of the people who are here at the Abreport Junction and find out what their general expectations are from the incoming or the new government. My brother, what's your name?
My name is Emmanuel Asa.
Emmanuel, there is change. We are going to have a new government, that is the NDC, changing from the New Patriotic Party government to the NDC. What is your general expectation from the John Dramani Mahama-led administration?
Okay, thank you for asking me this question. My general expectation is, by God's grace, we have get a change of a new government. What we are expecting from him, that things that we have been seeing, which was not going on, a lot of lack of fuel. We can see there's a cost of fuel, and if cost of fuel is rise up, all things become costly. So we are expecting him that he can make things to become down, so that we can also do things easily for ourselves. Because now we cannot buy something easy. Even food is costly. If you're having 10 cedi, you can't even buy food to satisfy yourself. So now there is no any work that you can do to get that 10 cedi. Right now we are here. I got up around 4 o'clock a.m. and I'm here. But I can tell you that there is no work. But what can you do? Because of cost of things is high. So everybody, if someone comes and you are trying to take his things to where he's going, because of you don't have money, he'll say that, oh, I can send it, I'll go with it. He cannot go with it, but still, he have to try his best to do so, to carry, because he don't have enough money with him. But first, things was not like that. But we are hoping that now that he have come back again, we know that he can make things right for us so that we can go on our life.
Per your accent, I can confirm that you are not an Ashanti, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm not an Ashanti. I'm a Frafra by trap.
Okay, so back home, what are your expectations there? Because you have migrated there down here to come and seek for greener pasture.
Yeah, my expectation from down there is if our government can implement some works there for us so that we can go back to also work and develop there. Because there is no work there, that's why we are here. If there is work, enough work there for us to do, we don't think that we will migrate from far from our place and come here for work. So we are seeking that he should do something there for us to also do it, to get some work there doing.
Thank you very much. So that is what he's also expecting from the incoming John Dramani Mahama's administration. They want them to give them job so that, that will also stop the migration from the northern region to the Ashanti to come and seek for jobs, among other things. Now, there are other bread sellers here. Let me also find out from them what their expectations are. So far as this new government is concerned. Mame, me watching Ediba GH1 TV. So.
Yeah, yeah.
Sisi abaya tu ye nsisan aba. Nsisan aba ye wo uton brodo ewo junction ha. Den na wo hwe edifi aban foforo awaba se de be ya wo nso dwumadie ebekoso.
Yeah, me hwe efri aman ho ne say wa bai obeye ha ye ni cars. Obama cars mono nipa ba ha bebira ya beto ya de eno na yeso ye hwehwe.
That means Metro Mass ha na cars no ewo form.
Ye ni cars to say first no. Adwuma no kɔ form kura nipa mba ha. Nti so the cars mono ba nipa beba ha bebira so anso ye beto ya de enso amaye.
Okay. So with this woman, her expectations are that yes, here at the Abreport Junction Metro Mass Station, they were cashing in because people were coming here in their numbers to come and board buses to their various regions. But now the buses, they don't have enough buses. So that is why her prayer is that John Mahama should improve the Metro Mass transit so that there will be more money, because people will come here and pick buses to their various regions. So that has been the situation in Ashanti region for now. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much. That's Isaac Justice Bediako coming to us live from Kumasi, particularly Bantama, the Abreport Junction area. Some traders, some hawkers sharing sentiments about what they expect of the incoming administration as they take over.
They expect fuel prices to go down. I want fuel prices to go down.
Who doesn't want it to go down?
The cost of fuel in this country is
we generally want cost of living to come down.
Doc says she just wants 30%.
Yes, I have.
Do you want 30% slash in fuel prices as well?
Oh, it should be removed.
I mean, but if you look at the price build-up, when it comes to fuel, it's there are lots of things in there that I believe should not be there. When you look at the cost build-up on the prices of fuel, perhaps if something is done about that.
No, I think for me the concern is the way the free flow. They just keep increasing. There's no regulation aside. Every day. By in the morning you go, you buy fuel, or you say you are coming back to buy fuel. In the evening it has gone up. The next day it's gone up. So there's really no regulation. It's just on and on. Whoever is increasing, there must be some regulation.
Right. So you saw members of the diplomatic corps. You're seeing Zenato Ajiman Rawlins and Mahama Yariga, MP for Kloptik Korle and MP for Boko Central.
Yes.
There in your shot. So essentially all the dignitaries have arrived. Earlier we saw Goodluck Jonathan, former president of Nigeria, also arrive at the scene. We saw Ellen Johnson Sirleaf in the shot as well. We saw former President Jacob Zuma of South Africa. We've seen Fifi Kwete, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, and quite a number of other dignitaries all arriving at the Black Star Square, or the Independence Square. That is what it's called.
The Garland. So it is imperative that he is there to witness this Garland. So it is imperative that he is there to witness this historic moment. Historic moment. So he's there with Raj as they make their way to their seats at the Independence Square to witness the swearing in of President John Dramani Mahama.
President-elect of the Republic of Ghana.
Yes.
Very soon to be president of the Republic of Ghana. But some of our colleagues were on the grounds earlier or have been of the Republic of Ghana. But some of our colleagues were on the grounds earlier or have been at the grounds. And so Abdul Hanan Adam currently is one of my colleagues who is there, has been engaging quite a number of people. And so we will look at some of those engagements. Currently, this is Julius Debra. So let's hear it.
The Chief of Staff now
made a few mistakes. This time round, you admit that you've made some mistakes, and what are some of the mistakes? I mean, as human as we are, you can't always get it perfectly. For example, the human factor in every aspect. You will be dealing with people, and when I went in, for example, they had most of the staffers already appointed, but I had to work with them. But this time round, at least I'll have a hand in who becomes a staffer and who becomes an aide. And the team I'm looking at putting together must be people who, right from the word go, will be able to work for the delivery by the president. The president's mandate is for us, and we really, really need to work hard to prove the point.
On top of the list for Ghanaians. And secondly, it's jobs. Unemployment is high amongst the youth of this country. How soon does the incoming administration intend to tackle these two critical issues?
Well,
All right, so you're seeing Goodluck Jonathan and Olusegun Obasanjo, all former presidents of Nigeria on your show. The earlier, Abdul Hanan was engaging the Chief of Staff.
And that's the Upper West Regional Chairman of the NDC, also there.
Also there in your shot. So Julius Debra was being engaged earlier. Unfortunately, we've lost that connection. We'll try and re-establish that connection. But of course, Julius Debra was telling Hanan that some mistakes were made previously. And because they have that experience, they are not going to make those mistakes again, especially with regard to who becomes a presidential staff. He was saying that he'll have a hand at least not they really want to do, who becomes a staffer, who becomes an aide, among other things. Julius Debra, we know, is the Chief of Staff, or has been appointed as the Chief of Staff for John, who remains the spokesperson, for
the acting
spokesperson for the president. Myretta Brewer-Pia is legal counsel to the president. If that is any indication, perhaps she may become the Attorney General once more. We do not know, but this sort of gives you a semblance of what the president is thinking about. Gusi Tano is in charge of the 24-hour economy. He's been appointed presidential advisor responsible for 24-hour economy and accelerated. Presidential advisor responsible for 24-hour economy and accelerated excellence. There are others, right? Valerie Sawyer,
Dr. Valerie Sawyer is Senior Presidential Advisor, Governmental Affairs. Prosper Douglas Barney, Head of Interim Security Task Force, and Dr. Callistus Mahama is Executive Secretary to the President. So that's the initial appointments made by President-elect John Dramani Mahama. I'm sure in the coming days after his swearing, after taking the oath of office, he'll make more appointments, and then we can analyze and scrutinize all the appointments and the work they'll do and bring on board in his administration as the President of the Republic of Ghana. Doc.
Yes.
I saw you smile while we were mentioning the names. But what do you make of the immediate appointments made?
Oh, it is the prerogative of the president-elect to...
There's a woman in there, by the way.
Yes. Dr. Sawyer.
Well, there are two women. Dr. Valerie Sawyer and then Myretta.
I don't think that's token.
I'm not saying that it's token. I'm not referring to the the individual. I'm just saying that we don't want 111. We want to see... That's all I'm saying.
I think after this celebration...
I think after... 5-2 decision.
but Doc and Doc, I think after this inauguration, we should have a full discussion on affirmative action.
Exactly. You see, because
between the two of you,
I've just opened the manifesto.
Yes,
and all that he was saying, because the whole you were talking about 30% and all that, they can't be wrong. And here, whether the people are available or whatever or merit. But this is so clear. If you go to their manifesto, page 113, it talks so much clearly about the 30% of appoint quota for women in all political appointments. He talks about passage of the property rights of spouses, and then the interstate succession law and all those things. All those ones are.
So all of these are expectations that you have because they are there in the manifesto.
And he talks about
so you expect them to be done.
Doctor talked about passage of the legislative instrument for the affirmative action. They said they will do it.
Okay.
And they've said all this in the judiciary, the security service, everywhere. They put all of this in page 113. And there's no condition attached. They said they will do it.
They will do it. So they have
to do it.
They have to do it.
Yes.
Yes, they have to do it.
But you know, they actually launched a women's manifesto.
And the youth.
Yes, and the youth manifesto.
They started it from here, and then they expanded it.
You know what? I'm sure our producers are listening. So our producers on GH today, at another time, we'll have Dr. Norman and Dr. Binka here in the studio. And then we'll discuss affirmative action.
Yes.
So to the viewers out there, make a date. Keep watching GH1 television. It's a match. Discussion. You can see yes, it's a match.
Oh, I love
that. Yeah. So it's coming up. So coming very soon.
Payment can be done with your credit card, a bank wire transfer, or direct deposit in any Stanbic bank in Ghana. We have one office in Accra, and from the main office in
Afede.
Yes, Tugbe Afede is arriving there. In your shot, he is the Abobomefia of the Asogli state, arriving there, as well. But let's continue with our discussions, talking about expectations, right? Isaac Justice Bediako, engaged, some of the last lastly, you were engaging him then. They were talking about the expectations. Fuel prices going down. The one at the Metro Mass Transit said they expect to have more buses. Right? The Metro Mass, I think that's one of the legacies of former President Kufuor.
True.
Right? Which we're still benefiting from today. So would want some additions or it to be added onto. Right? Dr. Norman.
Yes.
Apart from all the affirmative action, issues and the women and all of that, other expectations, you have already indicated that expectations shouldn't be because of where we are. But this government campaigned on hope and coming in to change